What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerdcastle for the next episode of Shadowrun Hong Kong. My name is Splattercat. Happy to have you here today as we hang out for a little while and run in the Shadows Chummers. Stoked about it. So in the previous episode, we had a little heart-to-heart with Duncan. We had learned a bit about our past, and in fact, I think they had allowed us to decide what we had wanted our past to be, which is a very, very nice little touch. I like that. When they don't just fill in the blanks, they let you do it. It's difficult to do, though, when you program a game, because from now on, he has to reference that point accurately. Otherwise, the fourth wall is broken! And everybody knows that the fourth wall is the most important for holding up the ceiling. So anyways, that's an engineering tip. Hoi, a makeshift boat city latched onto the Kai-Tek riverfront like a parasite. Behind you, a massive snarl of dark and derelict rises and dominates the horizon. The walled city. He says he doesn't see a mahjong parlor. They should probably run those separately, so when you exit that, then they do the dialogue, because when I was busy reading this down here, it did dialogue between our characters, and so I sort of missed out. I can go watch the footage. It's not that big of a deal, but it's just like a little ease of living type thing that I would do. Let's follow along. We look like we're running so urgently. We run like anime characters. Like, we must go right now. It is very important. Ha ha ha. I think we will... I used to watch Speed Racer when I was a kid. My dad loved Speed Racer. He thought it was hilarious, but not like in the way, well, probably in the way that most people thought it was hilarious. My dad used to just die at the dialogue. He thought it was like the funniest. We must go right now to see that car that is ours. Ah ha ha ha. My dad thought that was hilarious. He still jokes about it to this day, and Speed Racer hasn't been on in like a decade, million decades. I don't know how many years. I can't count. I make fart noises on the internet for entertainment purposes. I can't read or, count numbers. A massive steel security door is set into a bunker-like concrete wall. There's no sign or identification of what this place is. A battered intercom is encased in a cage of welded steel and armor glass. The wall is wielding steel. Get back, it's +5. And armor glass, he can actually cleave a lich. Grainy letters are barely readable on the screen. Chrome Alley, medical services and mechanical repair. Premises protected by deadly weapons and infectious diseases. Press buzzer. There's a crackle of static, then a brusque voice answers. What do you want? The voice's Cantonese is precise, but the accent sounds American. Is this a medical clinic? No, it's a chicken factory. What do you want? I need drones and rigging gear. Let's just guess. You want reliable Matthew. He's got a used drone lot out on the docks. Now get lost. I don't like strangers. I need a cyber doc? Yeah, that's me, but listen, guy. Listen, guy. I don't know you, and I don't like people I don't know. Who said ya? I'm friends with Isabel and Gobbet. Yeah? Those two dragged some real prizes out of the river. You get Nightjar to vouch for you, I'll consider giving you the time of day. Got it? You don't keep up with the current events, do you? Nightjar's dead. There's a long silence on the intercom. Crying shame if that's true, and I saw that one coming. So you just washed up with Isabel and Gobbet, huh? You know what that tells me? You're here today, gone tomorrow. I'll keep my distance. Alright, I'm going. Calm down. I'm going to cyber the shit out of my character, by the way. And I don't mean I'm going to spend the rest of the night on the internet with chapped loins. What I'm saying is that if you're cybered in this game, it means that you've replaced big chunks of your body with machinery. I'm going to clank when I walk. It is going to be amazing. When they're like, they'll be like, oh, Splattercat's coming. You know, I'm also going to have cyber ears on me, but they're going to look like cat ears. It's going to be adorable. Maybe some cyber whiskers. What is this over here? Apparently, they're a bunch of heavily armed men who sell hot tea. That's all that I could tell from right here. Hot tea! Anybody want hot tea? Get hot tea or get shot tea. That's a pretty good argument right there. Buy my tea or I'll shoot you in the face. Triad guard. The thug looks at you dead-faced. Despite his street clothes, he wears a high-tech earpiece. The entrance to the walled city is closed to foreigners. I made him sound bored. I don't know. I'd be bored if I did that job all day. I'd be like, listen, pal, you see this gun? You see this earpiece? This is some real gangster shit over here. You don't want to come into the walled city. Get real for you, son. Get real quick. So, what do these people do? You guys do anything? I like your shoes, by the way. Pretty awesome. I like those little slippers. I like them when girls wear them. I don't know. It's attractive. I like those shoes. They were popular for a while when I was in high school. That's probably what it was. And then they went out of style and nobody wears them anymore. So I was like, yeah. When you say you like them, people are like, oh, were you born in like what, like the 60s? I'm like, well, whatever. It sucks being old. You'll find out someday. I always like to say that with kind of like a hint of knowing. I'll be like, it sucks getting old. You'll find out someday. Don't you worry, 18-year-old watching my video. You can't stop it. You will be old one day and unpopular and uncool. What does it say? Don't mess with the law. Don't mess with the law, or we will spray paint your landlocked boat that can't go anywhere. I don't think that boat actually fits anywhere. I would be surprised if it could fit through that hole right there. Then again, it looks like they mostly just boarded up all these boats and made them part of the dock, so maybe it's not meant to go anywhere. But they left the sail up, so, you know, sailing we will go. I like how they have people sitting around and, like, walking and stuff. That's surprising to me, because normally, in the previous games, the only people standing around were, like, vendors. And so I like the fact that they've gone through and they tried to make the game look a little bit more organic by having just NPCs you can't interact with sitting around and enjoying their time in the world, or, I guess, just living in a slum, crime-ridden area and making the best of it. That looks like the place we're supposed to go for our, what does that say? Mahjong parlor. Okay, so that's the place that we're going to try and go. Got a smuggler over here. What's he got to say? Sorry, I'm the kind of guy that goes through and clicks on everything. Just off the docks, you find a sea-worn man with a smile that's too wide for his head. His teeth shine white against the thick black bush of his beard. His clothes are a myriad of colors, patterns, and fabrics, a smattering of cultures draped across his body. If there's anything he's clearly advertising, it's the extent of his travels. See something you like? His voice is coarse like steel wool on your eardrums. Come and get it, because now's your last chance. Everything's on sale. You won't find prices like this anywhere else, my friend. Alright, well, let me see what you're selling. Oh, he's selling gunses. Okay, so this guy's got all kinds of stuff. Let's go through and we'll talk about it. So he's got a Seska Black Scorpion, he's got an Uzi, he's got a Ruger 100S. If I know anything, in the previous game, sniping was so powerful. Oh my god, snipers were brutal in the previous game. They were the shit. If you were a sniper, you were like a rock star in the previous game. It looks like he's actually got just like random stuff. So he's got Firewall. He's got Exploder Espers. Essentially, it's just a suicide bomber Esper. You spawn it when you're in the Matrix and it runs at somebody and blows up. That's all that it's good for. He's got magical gear. You got just about everything, don't you? You got all kinds of weird shit up in here. Okay, well, nothing that I want. Anybody else talking around here? You can hold down the out key, by the way, it's just like any other like CRPG. You hold down out and it'll give you, it said bolt hole. I thought it said butthole for a second. I was like, whoa, that ship's got a mechanical butthole? Man, the future is a crazy place. Wah, wah. Pfft. I don't think can we look at that? The original name has been sloppily painted over with black paint. Newer but somewhat weathered characters have been painted in bold brush strokes and read bolt hole. It looks like it says Bakuga to me, but I'm not going to question it. Don't think I want to go up there right now, but what I am in the market for, what I would very much like to find, is the drone marketer. Anybody that's selling drones into servitude, I would love to find that guy, because we have drone points that are going horribly unused right now. So maybe this guy, Frederick Cafe, or Cafe, I don't really know how to say his name. Whatever. That's close enough, friend. Hey, I see you are a purveyor of kitties as well. I too have a kitty. Let us be friends and base our friendship around the mutual endorsement of kitties. That's close enough, my friend. The club is members and invites only. I suggest you move along. Alright, so apparently we're not popular enough to hang out over there right now. Anything down this way? We already looked down here. Never mind. Maybe we've got to talk to people who are connected before we can actually hook up with drones or something? I don't see anything else around here, so whatever. Ooh, this is one of those boats that like Navy SEALs go ashore in. Like, go Team Delta now! Go, go, go! It's always like in like a radio voice. The insulation on these heavy wires is cracked. They buzz and crackle occasionally as stray drips from the awning strike them. That's not very nice. You shouldn't strike anything that doesn't want you to strike it. And even then it would be awkward. I had a girl do that in the middle of a sexual encounter one time. She was like, punch me. And I was like, are you, what? Like, I had to stop because, I don't know. When I do this joke in public, I do jokes, by the way. I fancy myself to be a comedian someday. But anyways, when I do this joke in public, it includes me thrusting the entire time while I'm talking. That's part of the joke. And so anyways, without it, the joke wouldn't be as funny. I stopped, and I was like, really? And she's like, yeah, punch me. And we had a conversation mid-coitus about, like, I don't want to. She was like, fucking punch me. And I was like, I'm sorry for the language, but it's part of the joke. And I was like, I don't want to. I feel very uncomfortable about this. And the whole thing just ended up very, very awkward. It was, I would highly recommend not encouraging somebody on an early sexual encounter to punch you. Because, I'm like, is that what gets you, is that what gets you off? Just like, ah! Alright, whatever. It was probably one of the weirdest things that has ever happened to me. Don't tell my girlfriend. No, I'm just joking. Who are we talking to in here? Oh, the lady with the giant piss-colored dialogue box across her head. Okay, let's do that. You can feel every eye in the room as you cross the mahjong parlor to the middle-aged woman sitting patiently at this end. The click-clack of ivory-colored tiles stops. Hands stray beneath tables into jacket pockets and behind backs. The woman has the face of a prison guard and the demeanor of an inmate. Her salt and pepper hair is pulled into an iron-hard bun, and beneath it 2 shiny black eyes offer nothing. Buttons sewn on a doll. A nearly empty bottle of something foul rests on her mahjong table, nestled between a pair of dirty shot glasses. Tiny puddles of brown linger at their bottoms. Gobbet and Isabel stand on the other side of the table, heads lowered, shoulders slumped, hands clasped. They risk a frightened glance at you as they approach. Wow, this lady's got everybody locked down super submissive. She got people staring at the floor. It's a scary lady right here. This is one of those soulless people you meet once in a lifetime. I lived in like a really, really skeevy, shitty area when I first got out of high school for a couple of years with my best friend. Like the ass end of the hood. And occasionally you would meet just like a dead-eyed human being out there. Or you'd run across him in like a 7-Eleven or something. You'd be like, yeah, this individual is not to be messed with. I don't even want to be near you, let alone look at you, because somebody probably wants to spray you with bullets. Kindly Cheng's voice is nasal and rusty mean. My little pair of fuck-ups here told me all about what happened on the docks. She dips a pinky into a shot glass and brings it to her mouth and removes it with a sharp smack. I thought that said dips a pickle into a jar, and I was like, wow, this got really non sequitur all of a sudden. How 2 of my best runners had their heads put out. How you need protection and how you need to get your identities right before you get your heads put out too. You've potentially led the heat to my front door. You've placed me and everyone in my employ in danger. I changed the tense right there because it made me happier. She fingers the rim of her glass. Sexily or like I'm gonna hurt you style, because there's aggressive fingering and then there's like this night might turn out well fingering. So wise, so very, very wise. Oh, well then again I guess it was a good thing. The young shaman's eyes never leave the floor. We're sorry, Auntie. We thought... Her eyes flash. You mustn't speak until you are spoken to, Gobbet dear. The smile turns meat, and since you are one short hair away from being dumped in the river, chained to Isabel's corpse, I suggest you let your new friends here do the talking for a while. Does that make sense to you, dear? Her treacle voice is back, sweet, nasal, and grinding. Dark circles ring Gobbet's armpits. Yes, Auntie. Cheng inclines her head gently. Very good. You learn so quickly. Gobbet kept a very cool head in a tense situation. She's the one who led us out of the police ambush. Gobbet's eyes dart from you to the triad boss and back again. A thin trickle of perspiration slides from beneath the ropes of her hair. Kindly Cheng slowly turns and directs her attention to you. Her voice remains cloyingly sweet. I count little Gobbet here among my most resourceful runners, but I admit, it's good to have outside validation from time to time. This lady, she looks like my old landlady, no joke. When I lived like in the ass end of the hood, my landlady was a little Chinese lady who was always smoking on a cigarette. It sounds like a stereotype. I swear to God, it's not. I'm not trying to like be an asshole right now, but basically that's what she reminds me of. Just don't ask to have your sink fixed, because it ain't gonna happen. The look of gratitude from the young rat shaman is deeply sincere and exceedingly brief. Kindly's chin lowers and her nostrils flare. And now that you've shared that valuable little tidbit, perhaps you would be so kind as to keep your fucking mouth shut until you were spoken to. Jesus. This lady goes for the jugular. I'm intimidated right now. I don't like this. I like to be the alpha group. This lady is clearly the alpha. She has displaced me. Her voice sweetens again. Can you do that for me? Yes, Auntie? Ah, show of respect. She smiles with her mouth. Her eyes remain glassy and cold. Good boy. She smiles with her mouth and her eyes remain cold. I do appreciate it, dear. She pours another drink. Her cheeks are rosy and already flushed. Now, my darlings, I understand from little rat shit here that you came from Seattle to meet with my client, Mr. Black. Whose jaw tightens at the word client. But before you could find him, the HKPF started splattering gray matter everywhere, and everything went to shit. Well, everything went to gray matter, but yeah, you get the point. I'm too much of a smartass. I would get killed in this situation. I can't help it. The voice of sarcasm is the voice of sarcasm and class clown runs deep within me. I'd be dead already. And now you need your sins burned so that you can disappear before you end up dead too. Is that right? If you need your sins burned, I really feel like the better option, she could have gone with the name The Padre. That feels better to me if you deal with burning sins. I don't know. Is that... or yes, ma'am. Very good. Why don't you start with telling me who you are? My name, should I tell her my real name? I don't know if I should or not. My name is Tuesday. And have you got a first name, Tuesday? Profession? I mean, you do want me to erase your identities, don't you, dear? I'll need to know who you are first. Pop-Tart, I'm a Decker. She rests her chin on a liver-spotted hand. Ah, like little Isabel here. I can't imagine traveling the Matrix. And how did you become a Decker? I have picked it up young. I've been in the cooler for a few. Wu's brow furrows and he shakes his head. Still can't believe it. Kindly Cheng whips her head towards Wu, a nasty retort already on her lips, but then she stops, sticks out her lower lip as she sizes him up. She turns to her lieutenant standing behind her and nods her approval. Looks like the gun show is in town. And what's your name, gun show? Wu focus remains straight ahead, or Wu's focus. Duncan Wu, cop, Lone Star. I hear there were some fresh corpses found on the docks tonight. Smugglers, I believe. Didn't sound like Hong Kong beliefs when I heard about it. You're doing Duncan Wu? Wu's eyes remain fixed on a spot on the wall behind her, and he smolders. I identified myself as Lone Star, but they wouldn't stand down, and they had weapons. It was self-defense. She puckers her lips at him, her voice sing-song. I don't care, sweetie. They weren't my people. But now I know you're a life-taker, Mr. Gunshow, you and your friend here. She begins arranging mahjong tiles on the table in front of her. But now I'm curious. Why were you meeting Raymond Black on the docks tonight? Raymond Black is our foster father. I'm just going to come clean here because she's got to erase our history, and so whatever, she's going to find out anyways. That makes her pause. Cheng lifts a bottle of swill and her eyes the label, connecting the dots in her own head. Interesting. A look of disgust passes over her face. Sorry, kids, but he was looking like shit when I saw him. Eyes half open, dark circles around him, dragging his feet. The whole bit, she ticks in displeasure. Your foster daddy was in a bad place. Sounds like he wasn't sleeping. Could be. From what he said, it sounded like he was having nightmares. He would stop in the middle of a sentence and mutter something to himself. One time, it was about the walls breathing, or something. Another time, it was about teeth. Thousands of teeth. I remember him drifting off near the end of our meeting. It looked like he was off somewhere else in his head, and he said, I left prosperity in there. Then Nightjar put his hand on Mr. Black's shoulder and asked him why he wanted to go to the walled city so badly. That seemed to bring him back. When your old man opened his eyes, they were full of tears, and then he muttered something else I couldn't make out. She pours herself another shot, tosses it back, and rubs her belly. Your daddy got really irritating after a while. So, how could you leave prosperity? Do you think prosperity could be a person? I suppose I'll show my intellect, why not? I have no fucking clue. She grabs a long, slim cigar from a pack on the mahjong table and lights it. Alright, let's get to it. She exhales smokes and points two fingers at you and Wu. You two need your sins burned, and you need them burned fast. Hong Kong dragnets are bad news, and when they roll in force. Armored personnel carriers, heavy armor, heavy weapons, sorcerers, the whole thing, and they aren't coming to arrest you. She folds her arms across her chest. The sin cigar bobs in her mouth as she speaks. This is good, or the good news is that I can help you. With a wave of my hand, I can make your sins disappear. But you need to understand, my darlings, is that what you are asking for is not a simple request. Burning a sin isn't just deleting a number. It's wiping all reference to that number from all of the world's largest databases. It's masking your mugshot in their facial recognition database so that the first camera you walk past doesn't bring them down on you like a ton of bricks. It's covering your fucking tracks so that the act of burning your sin doesn't lead them right to us. It requires contacts in numerous corporations and the UCAS government. Smoke rolls out of the triad boss's nose. It requires someone like me. The UCAS is the United Canadian and American States, by the way. Canada and America, I don't remember exactly how it happened. Canada and the United States became the same thing. I don't remember if they fought a war to do it or not, but they became one country. It's all just one big landmass now. Therefore, I need to make a choice. She takes another drag on her cigar and gently places her palm flat on the table. Do I kill you and dispose of your bodies before the cops come looking for you? Or do I help you burn your sins? We're more valuable to you alive. Help us and we'll help you. Cheng rests her chin on her hand and smiles at you. Are you, my darling? If you're dead, things appear to be much less complicated, but if you're alive... She stares at you for a long moment, chin still on hand, thinking, and taps her rash on the floor without taking her eyes at you. No, you've got a rug. Those are rugs. Don't tap your ash on the floor. Bad manners, even for your own house. A low, reluctant growl rumbles somewhere deep in her throat. Okay. You live for now. I'll put your sins to the torch. However, I'll need to call in several valuable favors within my network to do it. And those favors do not come cheap. Kindly Cheng stubs out her cigar. You will owe me. Whatever you say, Auntie. Don't roll over so easily, my darling. People will think that you're an ass kicker, and it's unbecoming. I want you to deliver a message for me to a business associate inside the walled city. The Yellow Lotus has a strong presence inside Pop-Tart. Isabel can tell you about it, can't you, dear? Isabel grew up in the walled city. Isabel's eyes remain lowered. They collect taxes for corporations. They extort protection money from shopkeepers, run drugs, guns, people. They hurt people. We do those things, yes, but to be fair, we also operate the walled city's black market. You might not be alive today if it weren't for the lifeline that we provide. Isabel clams up tight. Cheng picks up a mahjong tile and turns it with her fingers. There is a red pole, a sort of enforcer, yes, on the inside. His name is Strangler Bao. Bao is a good man, good soldier, but he's forgotten his place. I need you to remind him. Do we make an example out of him? Did I say that I wanted you to make an example of him? No. I want you to deliver a message. She tosses you a memory stick. Bring this to him in my name, and remember that Bao's men are my men. By right, they should all be serving me. Killing them would be a waste of resources. I have no use for dead soldiers. She turns to Gobbet and Isabel. One of you will go with these two Westerners to the walled city. Help them locate Bao and show them the ropes. The other will remain here with me. I have several menial and degrading tasks that need doing around the establishment. No matter who goes and who stays, you will both pay for bringing an APB to my doorstep. Yes, Auntie. Yes, Auntie. Now, I'm going to find out who ordered the hit on Nightjar and do some dentistry on him at Power Tools. She closes her eyes and smiles with pleasure. That boy was my favorite. He sang to me sometimes. She opens her eyes again and sneers. The other one, I don't care about. Gutshot was an asshole. She turns away and waves you off with the back of her hand. That will be all, my darlings. Return to me when you're done. Alright, so it seems like a good spot for me to break off the episode. My name is Splattercat. This is Shadowrun Hong Kong. If you have enjoyed what you've seen today, check it out down below. Help the developers out. Make sure that more Shadowrun games get made so that I can keep making Let's Plays of those Shadowrun games that got made. It's a nasty chain, and I hope that it gets a whole lot cleaner. I'll see y'all later. Hi to everybody.